What's up, everyone? Welcome to Around the ACL. Michelle Thompson here with Trey Ryder and Wally K9 Castler. We're getting ready for our first open of the season. Let's go, guys. We're here. We made it with such a long time off. I mean, it was crazy.
So much time off. What did we do?
And that off season was nuts, wasn't it?
It's funny. I always like to say, I feel like my actual off season is actually after this weekend through beginning of November.
That's
I
fair.
get actually because I'm not on the events team that goes to the opens. So most of these past 2 months have been the last thing from an off season, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's been getting through Worlds and then all the prep, the nonstop prep to get everything ready just to hit go on this season. And so now that once you hit go, everything's in place. You can't change anything now. I mean, it is what it is. So it's mostly just getting everything ready there. So yeah, I'll look forward to a nice October and November.
Well, Wally and I will be busy October, November, going into the opens. I will be doing a lot of the commentating this season, more than I ever have. So, looking forward to that and getting on the mic there with you guys and hanging out with Wally and Jake and Corey and Chase. And yeah, but the first one coming up, Rock Hill, we always kick it off there. That's going to be this weekend. We're going to have the draft. We're going to have the rookie showcase. The rookie showcase was by far my favorite thing we've ever added. That was so fun. And I believe, Wally, we're streaming it this time.
Yeah, I saw something on the schedule
TikTok.
streaming on TikTok. So Corey's going to put something there. Are we still doing stations?
Yeah, we're doing stations. So I'll be live on TikTok throughout the entire rookie showcase. It's going to be old school. We're going to put that thing on a tripod and we're going to just walk around from station to station, talk. And it'll be good. It'll be informal, but I think it'll be really cool. So I encourage, if you guys are really into the nitty gritty on checking out these rookies, check out the TikTok this Friday morning, because we'll be just going live for it and talking to people and getting scores and everything like that. But yes, we will have our different stations again. So we will have a deck around station. So each rookie will throw their deck around. And I know we'll talk about the rookie showcase in more in depth later, but we'll have the push, the block, the play the block, and the airmail stations. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And of course, the draft, well, you'll be able to find all of us there, taking you through the first 3 rounds. 3 rounds?
Yes, we're doing 3 rounds. Yes.
Okay, perfect. And we're going to get into what that first round is going to look like a little bit later. But first, let's talk about the actual open that's happening. So a little bit different. The Pro Elite will have their own bracket. And so it was interesting when I was bringing the teams over. I'm like, wow, this looks low. But I forgot that the advanced players are in their own bracket. So that they're typically all on the same list. So we will be able to go through that. But we'll have singles, we'll have doubles, we'll have obviously the open, the advanced, the comp, the intermediate, all that stuff happening over the weekend. But Trey, looking at that registration list at the Pro Elite Talent, there's one team that stuck out to me immediately, and I'm curious if it's the one that stuck out to you guys as odd.
I don't know if I didn't pick out an odd one. I probably see. The thing is, when I skim through here, I usually I know which one you picked. Yes, I do. I just had to look at the list again, and I immediately saw it, and I was like, "This is Misha's super team."
It's my super team in the oddest way possible.
I think Michelle is going to get T-shirts made for Corey Gilbert and Eric Davis this weekend. She is absolutely getting T-shirts made. Gilbert Davis 2024.
I'm not opposed. I don't have time. That this was the last. I just saw this. If only they had told me, I would have been more prepared. I am not prepared. I am just so excited.
Yeah, well, you're not going to be able to keep Mish from being biased on the mic at all this weekend if she gets Corey Gilbert and Eric Davis.
I'm going to be curious to see if Eric's going to talk a little bit with Corey during the matches, because Lightson's definitely be chirping, but I don't know if Eric is going to say anything back or not. But yeah, I'm curious to see what these new super teams look like. We got a lot of the super teams signing up here for Open number 1. What are they going to bring to the table? How much are they going to have, with the draft going on to be able to focus on doubles and, put out a quality performance. But Jacob Trzynski and Jamie Graham, Jeremiah Ellis, Devin Harbaugh, Jay Rubin, Ryan Trader, just to name a few. I know a lot of people are pretty Wells going into the draft, so Noah Monza teaming up with, not to mention the be drafted. They want to have a good showing too.
And you're cutting in and out, Wally.
I see it every now and then. I don't know what's going on with the service here. I apologize. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, Wally. We get everything you said was brilliant, Wally. Everything you said was brilliant. It was
spot on.
It was fantastic. Spot on. Yeah, maybe I'll just piggyback a little bit on top of that. Like this is the first time ever, and I kind of wanted to set the stage with for the first time ever, these are now pro points earning events, right? There's gone are the days of, only looking at those pro signature events at the end of the season. Those are no more. Look, the race to MVP starts right now. If you go out and win this Open, you are, let's get real dramatic here. You win this first Open, you're the new number 1 player in the world, okay? And you're the leader for front runner for MVP, right? That's what's on the line right now. Now, there's a long season, right? That is very dramatic to say it like that. But in the end, that is really what's on the line for people, is a chance at becoming that top tier player and be the one that people have to chase immediately out of gate. You will be at the top of those 2024, 2025 rankings if you win this event this year. So piggybacking off of that, as we look into doubles, the trend that we're going to see this year, for better or worse, is you're going to see a higher volume of people playing with the same partner across the season because they want to earn those points and keep those same points. Every now and again, we're still going to see some players that are matching partners just to get, just playing for cash, playing for money, the opportunity to get another title under their belt. That's still in play. But these pros, towards their ranking, are going to count their 4 best signature events, what we used to call nationals, and their 2 best opens. So they have to play at least 2 opens in singles and have to play at least 2 opens with their preferred doubles partner throughout the beginning half of this regular season. So because of that, like Wally said, you're going to start seeing these super teams. You're going to get the Jeremiah Ellis and the Devin Harbaugh. You're going yeah. Oh, there it is. See, he's smart. Now he brings it up so he can talk about it. You're going to get the Jay Rubin and Ryan Trader. Now, I really want to hear Ryan's take on Rubin and Trader because I have some thoughts on there as well. But Graham and Trzynski, a number of different ones that people have teamed up with that are playing together this season. I'm just excited to see them competing and can Birchfield and Hissner repeat the incredible seasons they had last year. So there's a lot on the line here, and it feels different as we get into this first Open than it has felt at other Opens to kick off the season.
Look at Wally flashing the graphic, making you look bad, Trey. Where's your graphic?
I made these to post later on, and I was like, well, if you can't hear me, at least you could see what I'm thinking.
Who's Riker playing with? Who's Riker Wells' partner again?
So I was saying Riker's playing with Noah Monza, so that could be a little foreshadowing as to what they're looking for in the draft. I was kind of talking about my top list with Noah, and they're like, "You got Riker way too low," and I'm like, "Okay, tell me more."
Interesting.
Well, I think one of the things that's interesting about this first Open is I want to be very careful how I phrase this, but every year we have the conversation, is this the best rookie class ever? I don't foresee us having that debate this year. When I look at the lineup of rookies, there's a select few that I think can be top 30 players, but I'm not seeing a by far one. Every single year for the past 3 years, we've had that 1 or 2 guys that come in and we go, that could be a top 5 player right now, just walking into the division. And I don't see that clear-cut distinction this year, right? So I don't know if we're going to have an MVP candidate that is also a Rookie of the Year candidate that we've had in these years past. So because of that, I think that makes it even almost more interesting to watch some of these rookies this year because we have no idea where they're going to land in the grand scheme of things. So as we talk about the draft, talk about the rookie showcase, I think that's going to be a theme of who are these, who are the rookies that are going to emerge and become that favorite to take down that Rookie of the Year award this year.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. So we talked a little bit about doubles, but what about singles, Trey?
Yeah, there's another element that I think contributes to the conversation about the first Open of the year is that the ACL for years has always operated their national level tournaments on 2-year board cycles. So this past season, you saw all the boards that all of the pro events were played on this past season were in year 2 of the cycle, which means 2 full seasons of play on boards is going to slow them down. By the time that we got to the end of the season, if we were in any type of humid conditions whatsoever, those boards were playing slow, slow, slow. One thing that as I look forward to not only players, but conditions, brand new boards. Every single board that will be played on this coming weekend in Open number 1 will be brand new, okay? I know that worries a lot of people, right? They don't love that idea. A lot of people probably love it. It's just going to be a difference. So this season, especially in the first half of the season, you probably need to target a few players that do well on slick conditions. So in this case, I'm looking at someone like a Gary Bearpaw, a Matt Guy, a number of these other bag runners, even a Cheyenne Bubenheim. This could be an opportunity for her to take down an entire field, right? I'm not so much thrilled about seeing our traditional defensive players, right? Someone that plays the hybrid game, if they're willing to run some bags, someone like a Jeremiah Ellis, could be someone that could still do really, really well. But I love someone like a Devin Harbaugh, right? Someone that's going to be a high PPR person, right? In this instance, I'm kind of leaning into my hot take here, but I really believe this may be one of the highest PPR tournaments we have ever seen in the history of the league, just because if we think about the last time we rolled out brand new boards to an event, that was 2 years ago. Think of how much the game has evolved just in 2 years and how much better players have been. So I really think whoever wins this event, it doesn't just have to be a bag runner, but it has to be someone who, when needed, can execute that bag running strategy at an insanely, insanely high level.
Or at least Trey doesn't have their confidence shattered when they find slick boards, right? Like just the mental hurdle of like, oh no, they're playing fast, and then kind of crumbles as a result of that.
Yeah, and I know kind of the people you're talking about there, right? Like you look at the first person I think of when I think of that, Ethan Walker, right? I think Ethan Walker is going to be tested this weekend more than he ever has been, right? Because I know what his mentality is going to be. Because not only, here's the other thing, a lot of these pros may be breaking in their new 2025 bags. They don't have to switch over to 2025 bags until December 1st. But I know a lot of these pros are probably thinking, I might as well just start breaking them in now. So you maybe have a lot of people coming up with relatively new bags on new boards. Someone like an Ethan Walker, you got to win the mental game if you're going to compete this weekend.
Yeah, you might see them start off with those bags and then be like, that's enough. Switch to the tried and true. Oh, is this your top? Is this your singles, Wally? Let's hear it. Or not. Just kidding.
This is my singles. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's coming.
Cool.
Well, we got him for a half a second, and then we got his. But this is what it speaks to. I talked about Ethan Walker. Ethan Walker's
dying
on there.
over here.
Now I do find it interesting. Yeah, I know, Wally, you're just dying.
I'm glad you came, Wally. It's so nice to have you.
Yeah. Do you have graphics for all the other segments that we have for the rest of the show?
You better get on that live. No, do it like, hey, Wally, remember that event when you went to the graphics department and it was just the whiteboard and you just
the
hand drawing?
The paint? Yeah, I got that.
Yes.
No.
That's what we got to bring out in this show today.
I think we're bringing back the juniors, though. I think people from Success from 2 years ago are going to have a good year again this year.
All right.
Really good point. Like people like Caleb Batson and Alex Hicks. So we just saw that team. I know I'm cheating kind of the next segment talking about partners right there, but like Caleb Batson and Alex Hicks, for someone like an all cornhole who hasn't at times signed a really big class, for some of the other like different teams that they've been able to bring under that umbrella, like Caleb Batson and Alex Hicks could be a team that is really darn good and could be one that surprises a lot of people and gets a lot of wins. So I agree with you, Wally. This may be a good opportunity for some people that were good a few seasons ago to make a nice comeback.
I think Caleb Batson, Alex Hicks, I think high ceiling, low floor. At least that's what they've showed. And it's going to be, can they eliminate that floor? And we'll have to see, but I guess we can roll into that since we're talking about it. The new pro partners that we've heard about in the last week. So Landon Crabtree and Fisher Hamilton, Isabella Soprenet and Tubby Cobb, Matthew Creekkiller and Alec Ryan, Deborah Odom and Gary Bearpaw, and Caleb Batson and Alex Hicks are the ones that I've seen. I don't know if Trey, if any have come across your desk that I missed. But that's what I just kind of scour Facebook.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what I see out there. I think there's a couple things that come into play here that are very interesting here. So, we heard a lot of rumors in the offseason about Fisher Hamilton, right? And what he was able and was kind of maybe going through mentally. He didn't finish the second half of the 2024 season at his best, but still one of the most talented players in the world. Obviously comes immediately out and makes a partner switch, right? And so for the first time in his pro career will not be playing with Gavin Cano. I think Gavin Cano and him at times people thought were the best in the world, right? I know at one point Wally even had them as his number one team in the world based on his power rankings, right? But maybe in the second half of that partnership, there just wasn't something that was clicking as much. And because of that, Fisher Hamilton goes and finds someone who, in my mind, personality-wise, is about as opposite as you can get from Gavin Cano, right? Landon Crabtree is literally he's goofy, right? He likes to have some fun. He likes to mess around, and that's not kind of the vibe of Cano. Cano was locked in, laser focused, very stoic. And just very much kept to himself. So whether or not they'll have more success, if you're someone that is looking to kind of relieve a little bit of that pressure internally, making that stylistic change in partner, just from a personality perspective, I think is actually going to be a good strategy for Fisher Hamilton.
He's been active on social media. I've been watching him. He's talking about the bags he's throwing. He's posting videos. He seems to be, I don't know, just really engaged.
Yeah, which is great. And hopefully that's the case, and that's brought a newfound passion for. I think that's important. Bella Soprano, I think this is a huge win for both players. On one end, Tubby Cobb is getting someone who has a really good personality fit, and also someone that's really, really talented, near the top of her game, especially on the women's side of things. And then Bella on her end, she's getting someone that she is going to be dedicated, right? That is what she struggled with last year. She played with Caleb Franklin. Caleb Franklin didn't show up to the second half of the year. It left her kind of stranded on an island. And now Bella is looking for someone that is going to be dedicated. Tubby is going to be dedicated. This is his passion. This is what he wants to do, and he had a successful year last season. So I really like that one as well.
Consistent, definitely consistent.
Yeah, Creekkiller and Ryan. This one's interesting because both are really good shot makers, but both, I think, maybe peaked a year and a half ago and now are looking to get back towards a peak, right? So had a little bit of drop off in their play for a variety of different reasons. And I think, like I said, 18 months ago, Creekkiller and Ryan, people would have been honestly scared to play. They wouldn't want to play that team. This is a team now that you're almost scared of what they could do, but not necessarily scared of where they are right this second. And that should be that should be inspiring for them, right? They have an opportunity to get back to a place where they can be really dynamic.
Question mark team. That's what I call that one.
Yeah. Yeah, Deb Odom and Gary Bearpaw. I know Wally likes this team a lot. And now we're going to bring him back on, and he can talk about Deb Odom and Gary Bearpaw.
Wally, welcome to the show.
Is it better, hopefully?
No.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
This is bringing me joy, Wally. I'm sorry. I know this shouldn't. I
you
hope
like
you can laugh at this,
relocated. You relocated and everything. And you're like, it's better, right? No.
I changed everything.
I for those listening and not watching, I feel bad because this is just pure gold at the moment. Wally just logged back on after kicking off because he doesn't have reception, and now is in not only a different device, but is in a different location within his house, and he's trying to fight back through. You're doing a great job, Wally. Positivity.
Staying positive. Here come positive vibes. Positive vibes.
All right. I guess have fun, guys.
No, you're good. Go talk.
Give me Odom and Bearpaw. Give me Odom and Bearpaw.
All right. So they have a history. They know each other through the horseshoes. I think the chemistry is going to be there. The bag selection and trying to figure out, exactly how the boards are going to play and the styles of play that they want to go with and how aggressive they want to be at times, I think is something I'm going to keep an eye on. They both have really, really good air mails. I think that's going to be the difference in their games if they're hitting.
All right.
I think Bearpaw is scary. This weekend, guys, don't be surprised on slick boards if Gary Bearpaw has a top 5 finish in singles. I'm telling you, do not be surprised if that's what we get out of him this weekend. The last one, Caleb Batts and Alex Hicks, we kind of already touched on. You hit it, Mish. Low floor, high ceiling. I mean, I have no idea what to expect. If you pair together 2023 Caleb Batson with 2021 Alex Hicks, this team is a top 2-3 team in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, literally borderline unbeatable, right? But it's 2024 Caleb Batson and Alex Hicks. I don't know what that is yet, right? Hicks at times was up and down this year. Batson was not a lot of ups, to put it frank. It was a lot more downs than ups for Batson this year coming off of his world championship. This gives them a chance to reset. No idea what they're going to throw. Maybe Shags. If they come out there with game changer evolutions, I don't know what's going to happen to my brain, but it may melt. But if I just start seeing Alex and just picture a world in which Caleb Batson and Alex Hicks win the doubles world championship throwing game changer evolutions, and they're just rolling them bad boys all the way there. Like just sign me up for that, folks, because my brain would melt.
I don't see that happening. I could bet on that one. But some players that we haven't heard from: Kyle Malone, no longer with Devin Harbaugh. Vincent Frisch, is he running it back with Austin Cameron? Kaylee Hunter, I saw she signed up with Pat Sem for the first Open. Does that mean they're going to stay together? And Ryan Windsor, the big question mark. I haven't heard anything from him. I did a pretty deep dive on his social media to make sure I didn't miss it, but couldn't find anything. So interesting to see who they're going to be partnering up with and who's left, Trey.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. Now I did see Wally's preview of the year, right? Windsor and Morales playing together in the first Open. Nico Morales, Ryan Windsor, right? I don't know if that is a preview of what we're going to see all season, right? There hasn't been an official announcement, but again, as we look forward to this first Open, a lot of these pros are coming in town for media day. They have a media day on Sunday to get a lot of content filmed of them. So it is going to be more common than not that these players are going to be playing with the partner that they should play with across the season. So I don't know if Morales and Windsor will be that permanent fixture, but if Hunter and Sem stay together, I think that's a good decision. I actually really like that pairing for both players. And I think personality-wise, that dynamic really, really works. So hopefully, that's a partnership that stays together.
Yeah, I did see Kyle Malone made a post about not coming back this next season, but I mean, It is Kyle Malone, so who knows if that's actually going to stick or if it's teasing. it did come immediately after the Fisher Hamilton tease where he walked away, and then we announced his partner the next day. But who knows if Kyle comes back next year.
Malone posted that, and then 3 days later did sign his contract. So I would be surprised if after that he
pulls it
in the court of the office, snip, snap, like if there's a jumping back and forth there.
Oh my God, that's the best episode ever. Okay, the last chance for
this episode is off the rails.
It's so good. First open of the season. We're starting out Delulu. So that's a good that says a lot about our season.
Delulu, starting out Duluth Trading Company, title sponsor of the first open of the year. So shout out to Duluth Trading Company.
That's why.
They might drop us after this.
Going on.
What did we sign up for? We don't know. Let me get through this. The Mid-East. Congratulations, Alexander Melik, for winning that one.
He's the last pro to qualify. Last one. Shout out Alexander Melik.
We can put a bow on that. So congratulations. Moving into the draft. I was gonna try to make a sound for like the oh my God. Attention, like the desk. We have trade alerts.
News, or
Thank you. That's it. Trey, tell us about our trades.
Yeah, so some really, really good stuff. Interesting stuff. I just alluded to Fisher Hamilton, like not having maybe some, not loving how the last season ended. Not only does he part ways with Gavin Cano, he part ways with the Aviators. So Hamilton is getting a full reset on this season. Fisher Hamilton has been traded to the Florida Freeze for the 15th pick and the 29th pick. That's a first and second round pick for Fisher Hamilton. So I kind of like it for the Freeze, to be honest with you. When you start looking at the new teams format, you start talking about a group and how they need to perform. You're only going to be starting 10 players on teams, right? You have 2 singles, a doubles, a tandem doubles, and then a crew cup. So if you really think about it, and we start looking towards these active rosters now, okay, and especially for the Freeze, their lineup of who could be filling those particular games is disgusting. You have Alex Rawls, Matt Sorrells, Cheyenne Bubenheim, Chris Kingsbury, Alan Rawls, Blaine Rozier, and now Fisher Hamilton. We could be talking about a scenario in which I'm throwing Alex Rawls in singles. I'm throwing maybe Fisher Hamilton in singles. Imagine if Fisher Hamilton gets back to a high level there. And then my doubles team is Alan Rawls and Chris Kingsbury, a team that just finished second at the World Championships. I then throw Matt Sorrells and Blaine Rozier with one, and I find a partner for Cheyenne Bubenheim through the draft that she's really comfortable with. To me, this is a really good team. I really like that trade for the Florida Freeze. The Woodchucks do a similar trade. They trade their second and third round pick over to the Kentucky Colonels in exchange for Ryan Hart. And now if you look at how the Woodchucks stack up, Jeremiah Ellis, Jimmy Humans, Alec Ryan, Zach Scheidner, Hunter Thorson, Jacob Trzynski, and Ryan Hart. Again, if I'm thinking through the Woodchucks, I can throw out there either an Ellis and a Trzynski in my singles matches, or if I really like Humans and singles, I can maybe do Trzynski and Humans and then put Jeremiah Ellis and Ryan Hart back together in doubles. I mean, there are ways that we could really build the beginning parts of a really strong team here for the Woodchucks. So I really, really like how that has started off for them and shaped up.
Yeah, absolutely. Wally, I say this tentatively.
Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, they're good.
Yeah.
Okay. I do not like the trade for the Aviators. Basically, you're giving up Fisher for possibly Jeremy Frazier and like Austin Kipple. Personally, I'd rather have Hamilton on my squad. Again, you talked about the mixing up of how the format goes. That could have been a stronger pairing. I had Jeremy Frazier going to the Freeze anyway to partner up with Blaine Rozier this year. So Blaine Rozier is going to be my question mark, but the Florida guys, sticking with Florida guys, it's definitely Florida and Woodchucks heading into the draft for me.
Okay. And I forgot to update the first round. So Florida Freeze was that pick now goes to who?
Yeah, Florida Freeze traded their first round pick to the Ohio Aviators.
Okay. Okay, got it. So I just wanted to update that before we go into that first round. So this first round is based on, well, I'll let you explain, Trey, how we do the first round, because the second round's based on schedule, or I mean on finish, but the first round's different.
Yeah, just like last year, the very first round is just going to be the reverse order of essentially add all the pro singles rankings together of everybody that's coming back on the team and then put that in reverse order. Okay, so the idea is if you have the best returning squad, best on paper, then you get the last pick in the first round. So in this case, the Michigan Marauders, they're going to have the first overall pick. Virginia Cutters, sliders, slingers, spinners, bullybaggers, timber, ringers, kernels, aviators, burn, high rollers, coasters, maize, aviators, woodchucks. So that's after the trades have come through. So again, I love the woodchucks and their effort there because they know they're not going to get a high profile person in that first round. They're not going to get one of the first 15 picks. So they go out actively and get somebody so they can get a really good complementing piece at the end of the first round. They also trade away their second and third round picks, and boom, they're in a really advantageous position to make a really deep run. So I like the position that the Woodchucks are in. The Marauders are in a really good spot, I think, though, because part of the reason, and it just happened to be how kind of the format laid out, but they were able to keep Jaden Ellis on that team. And because Ellis technically had a lower ranking, didn't qualify for as many pro events, kind of had a down year on the elite side of things, gave them some credit, if you would, towards what was a higher draft ranking. So in the end, the Marauders have a nice little sweet spot. They like where they are right now with Schermerhorn, Niestedt, Power, adding Jaden Ellis. Like, they like their building blocks, and would not surprise me if they go out and get a Jay Rubin back on that team. I mean, they have a lot of faith in Jay Rubin. That could be a reunion of sorts, especially when you pair him with Jordan Power. So you add Jay Rubin to that team on the Marauders, and it becomes one. Yeah, and let's look at their roster really quick. If we look at what the Marauders are bringing back, Jordan Power, Jeremy Schermerhorn, Joe Niestedt, Jaden Ellis, and Mike Ferreira, plus you have to play one woman in every game that you play. They bring back Sarah Cassidy. That's another element of this draft that I think some people aren't paying a lot of attention to is I think some of the best available players may be women towards the top of the draft. If you know you have to play a woman, if you don't already have one on your team, I look at who's available. I see someone like Miranda Coy. She was the second-ranked female in the entire world last year, and she was not kept by the Coasters. I thought that was an interesting decision by the Coasters to not keep Coy in that regard. So as I look towards maybe the top ones that are available, I think she's got to be a part of that conversation. There's a number of other ones that are down here. Allison Springer is on this list. Gina Ramirez was another one. She was another woman on the Marauders. So the Marauders just went with their one keeper, who is a woman, with Sarah Cassidy. So Gina Ramirez, I think, may get an inflated draft pick just to make sure that a team that doesn't have a woman on their team secures one near the first few rounds.
Yeah, Wally, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that more teams didn't go with the keeping of an elite player or a junior player because they don't have that pro ranking from last year, which would in turn get them a higher draft pick. You know, we talked about the Marauders. I think they got Tyler Stratton, who's coming in without a pro ranking. Logan Dupler, I'm surprised he's not kept by the Ringers. That was a huge opportunity for them, and I think they dropped the ball there. But yeah, the females are going to play an interesting part in it. But I also think that the juniors being kept could have been a better strategy heading into the draft as far as who gets to pick where.
Yeah, that's a valid point. And changes can still be made, Trey, or it's now locked?
It's tough to say because some contracts are still coming in. So if contracts come in that could flip it, it would just be minor changes. But we're up against the gun if any changes had to be made.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, moving into buy or sell. First one, Jeremiah Ellis will be the number 1 player again this season. Trey.
Yeah, I mean, I have to sell this just because you're saying I can pick Jeremiah or the field. So fundamentally on the question, I don't see a huge drop off in his game. If we look towards a sophomore slump type of scenario, I don't think we're going to see a huge one. But as I look forward, his second half of the season, he didn't play as well as the first half of his season. So he's got to bounce back and find that mojo that he had the first part of the year and continue to run on that. I think he'll be a top 5 player again. Number 1, who knows?
Wally?
I'm going to sell also. Gavin Cano is somebody that I'm going to keep an eye on this year. He's so bad at fantasy football because his entire team is injured that he's going to have plenty of time to practice.
Ouch, shots fired at the fantasy. Hitting him where it hurts.
That's the only thing I was hoping my internet held up for.
It's most important thing was said. We're good.
Yes.
Dia Lee will be in the top 5 of women, Trey.
Yeah, I am, I got not in trouble, but I made a bold prediction. I think this time last year I picked Peyton Haynes being the top rookie woman, and I thought she would have a little bit stronger of a season. I still think she's a really solid player. I'm not going to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to go with another rookie woman being in the top 5 just because I'm stubborn and not very smart. So I'm going to go with and say, yes, I will buy this. I was really impressed with what I saw at the World Championships. And she's a bag runner. I'm telling you, bag runners are going to have a little bit more of an uptick this season just based on board conditions alone. So that's something I'm looking forward to. I'll buy it.
Wally?
I'm going to sell it. I'm going to say just outside of it. Mainly, I think Rosie's going to be back to full health. I like what Miranda did last year. Sarah Cassidy and Kaylee Hunter, put themselves near the top. I think it's going to be hard to climb in the top 5, but I say top 10 for sure.
Gosh, when you listed up to 5, now I'm kind of regretting my choice, but I'll figure it out. I'll stick to it.
No, can't take it back. Ryan Trader and Jay Rubin will be a top 5 team.
I'm going to sell it. I think they have the talent to be there, but there are 2 things, okay? Number 1, Jay Rubin hasn't played in a pro division event in over a year and a half, okay? I don't care who you are. Pro events hit different. They just do. It's not the same. It's not the same grind. You have to get in that same mental state again. Number 2, Ryan Trader has to change his entire mechanics. I know everybody's going to say he'll be just fine. Yeah, sure, he may be just fine down the road, but you can't tell me he can repeat the exact same production that he had this past season at the drop of a hat by changing his technique. Not at least out of the gate. So for now, I think they're going to take some time to build up to that. Top 15 team, absolutely. Top 5 team, got to sell for now.
Wally?
Yeah, I'm going to sell also. I think it's just going to take some time. They're also switching bag companies from what they were familiar with before. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes them to get in that groove. They're definitely going to be a team to watch and a team to be feared. But I want to see what we see here at Open number 1 before I put them anywhere near the top 10.
Okay. Matt Wilson will be the leader at the Rookie Showcase.
I really like Matt Wilson as a rookie. He showed last season, even through the elite side of things, that he can be a top 75 player. And I think putting him back in this and also giving him the experience of playing here at the Rock Hill Regionals is going to continue to push him at a high level. If there's anybody that's going to challenge him, it may be Riker Wells. I think Riker Wells has got a really good shot. I think Gary Bearpaw can challenge him a little bit. I'll still go with Wilson. I think shot maker wise, he's got the best tools out of this rookie class. So I'll buy it for now, but it's close.
Wally?
No, it's Gary Bearpaw for me. The airmails are going to belong to Gary Bearpaw. I heard rumors that he has a roll bag, so playing the block will be interesting. Ooh. And as far as running bags, he's probably got the highest PPR in the rookie class coming in. So it's going to be hard for Matt Wilson to overtake Gary Bearpaw, in my opinion.
I put this one just for you, Wally. Gary Bearpaw and Deborah Odom will be the sleeper team of the season. What do you think?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, go Wally.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to make a splash. I think they're going to be what I call bracket busters. They're going to upset some teams that think they should be able to beat them. But as far as being like a sleeper team, I think there's some out there that we haven't really given enough love yet to, and I'm too scared of my internet connection to get too far into that.
Fear the internet.
I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna say my sleeper team of the year is gonna be Ian Cripps and Jimmy Humans. I think that's a really interesting team that's a team I don't want to play. I tell you what, and I think Jimmy Humans plays a really good mentor role. Not that Ian Cripps needs that, but he's kind of that he's got that presence that I think just complements Ian Cripps really, really well.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the rookie showcase. That is going to be Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And we talked a little bit about some of the people that we'd be looking at. But Trey, thoughts on the rookie showcase?
Yeah, so this one, again, live streamed on TikTok, so make sure you go and check that out. You're not going to be able to watch it anywhere except TikTok. So I'm telling you now.
Trey, you're walking around with the phone or you're working a station?
I'm walking around the phone, so I am not working a station. So we're getting all that planned out as who's going to work what. But, yeah, essentially each player is going to go through 5 stations, and we're going to jump across, and we'll get score updates as we go. But they're going to go through a deck around station. So a deck around is simply 10 rounds. You have 4 bags. Score as many points as you can. Put as many bags in the hole as you physically can, okay? So the max you can get is 120, right? So it's pretty simple station. The next one is an airmail station, okay? So airmail station last season, or an airmail station is simply putting bags in front, and you got to throw an airmail. And if you either hit it or you don't, right? And so I think that's going to be, if you land it on the board, I think technically you still get a point, but you're obviously just trying to get it in the hole. So you're trying to get as many points as you can. I was just pulling up here. So last year, deck around wise, we had someone throw a 114. That was the highest by Caden Allen, which is gross. Then the high on the airmail last year looks like Evan Van Noss got a 78. I don't see any. It looks like Evan Van Noss maybe got the high score there on the airmail station, inside and outside arm. So you're going to throw inside and outside arm at an airmail station. Third station, you got to lay a block, right? A level 1 block, level 2 block, level 3 block. You got to do different points on the board in which you're trying to lay a block. The idea is you got to be able to, in certain situations in corner, you got to be able to hit them. You got to be able to lay them down. So this is always the lowest scored station. It's always the one that's most difficult, I think, personally. Then the next is a push. So there's different locations of a bag on the board. You're going to have to push through it and earn points. And then the last one is my favorite station, and the one I think we get the most data out of, which is the play the block station. There will be certain situations where an opponent's bag will be placed at different spots on the board, and it is your job as a player to navigate those different positions. So you can either airmail, you can roll, you can push through it, you can replace it, you can cut around it. There's the possibilities are endless. You can do whatever you want to do as far as strategy goes to go around it. And so there'll be different scoring systems, but the best players will just find a way to get in the hole without taking the blocker, and they'll be good to go. So as we look towards last year, play the block, Colby Shearer did really, really well there. He was at looks like a 244 is what he scored last year. Sammy Soto with a 264. So Sammy Soto was the leader in the clubhouse on that play the block station, and that pretty much translated to really good success. And Jeremiah Ellis was number 2. So when we look at the play the block station, I think that's going to be a really good indication of which rookie players will have the best outcome and the best performance.
Okay. And what's interesting about the rookie showcase, so that happens Friday morning. The draft happens Saturday evening. And what I found interesting at the rookie showcase was who's scouting, which teams are out there
Right.
scouting. No surprise that Mark Richards was there first thing right when it started, looking at those rookies. And I think that's a really smart move if you're the captain of one of those teams.
Now, I think just like the combine, though, you can get tricked, right? Because what happened to now it ended up not mattering, right? Because they won the team's world championship. But what happened to the Slingers last year?
Yeah, Logan Hall.
Logan Hall had an incredible performance at the rookie showcase. He becomes a first-round pick based on that performance, I think. And then in the end, he didn't have the season, the first-round pick season that I think everybody expected. So do we get a balance of it this year? Are people less buying into the data, or do they, or do they really buy in? Because I think it's perfect. I think it's exactly like the NFL Combine. Some people are going to make decisions based on someone's, measurables rather than their game situation. And for some, it'll pay off, and for some, it won't.
Yeah. Wally, thoughts on the rookie showcase?
Yeah, I like the rookie showcase. I do think it's one thing where you have to actually get there and watch. If you just take the stats, you're going to be misled a little bit. The play the block station you talked about, I think that's the one that's the most fun for the players to do because they can use their own creativity on how they want to score. And the other one that I'm going to really keep an eye on is going to be the airmails. How good are you getting yourself out of the situation? The deck around, sometimes people get bored. The push station, I saw it. It was fun for like 5 rounds. Then after a while, everyone was just like, I'm done with this station. So it's curious to see how the pros take it. Jeremiah Ellis, he had a personal mission to get done with it as fast as he could. So, yeah, some players might take it a little bit more seriously than others.
Yeah, that's fair. I saw that in the deck around a little bit too. Or I saw Braden Wilson, whose bags weren't going in the deck around. And so he was his deck around was really poor because he kept having to grab his bags and move them up. He turned the deck around into a push so it was really disheartening for him to play that. And actually, I think overall Braden's rookie showcase performance wasn't great and obviously had himself a fantastic season. So it really is about how much weight you want to put into that, but does give us some information and looking forward to finding out what we learn. All right, Trey, you alluded to a hot take earlier in the show. So what's that going to be?
Yeah, I'm going to say that and I don't know who's going to do it, but I think the bracket winner, right, or your open champion for this weekend, going to have a 10.7 or above tournament PPR. I think this is going to be a high PPR tournament to come in and win, and it's going to take a lot of bags in the hole to do it.
Wally?
I'm going to go with a junior player winning the singles open championship this weekend.
Okay. Ooh. I'm going to go with, I saw some of the posts from Cheyenne and Jordan. I know they had a pretty strong weekend at the event you were at, Wally, so I'm going Cheyenne and Jordan for the win here this weekend at the Open.
Wow.
Yeah, they look really, really good. That's one thing I did want to talk about. They looked really, really good there. The communication is Jordan's probably giving her more green lights than she's ready for. But I think that's going to help her out down the stretch because I liked what I saw out of them. I was really happy to see it.
Yeah, seems like it's going to work. All right, guys, that's all we have time for. We had a great show. Wally was standout performance. So thank you for that. And we'll see you all this weekend.